Yeah, there we go. Okay, we are in fact live now.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, we are in
Jesus, that's
fact
not
live.
good. I am hearing myself. That is awful when Twitch
We're
decides.
live. Jesus, that's not good. Man, that's a whole mood.
No,
Well.
I started and I'm keeping an eye on the Twitch chat and the stream in progress and it unmuted itself, so I just heard myself like a second delay afterwards, and like, oh god.
Yeah.
But anyways,
How
no.
long have we been in lockdown again?
Anyways, anyways, we are in fact live now. Once again, this is going to be a little bit of a quick little plug and promote, and people will probably do so in the Twitch chat here if they are able to. Otherwise, audibly will work. I will have mine go last because I have a couple of things to go through.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry, I forgot what we were doing for 2 seconds there. I'm Lucas Santana. You can usually find me over on Rule of Lore. I'll put the link for that in the chat. That's twitch.tv/Rule of Lore. Typically on Fridays, although we're taking a couple weeks off, but you can find me over there for our roundtable style talk show, Ramblemancy, where we talk about all kinds of nerdy stuff. With little to no structure, getting just increasingly far away from the original point of whatever we were talking about. So, you can usually find us over there. We have like a Discord and everything like that. I won't link that so I don't flood the chat with links, but you can find basically everything you need over on our Twitch channel. So, yeah, that's it.
I would suggest checking out Ramblemancy, especially if you have nothing better to do and just want to, I don't know, game and listen to the chaos unravel. It is truly entertaining.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Slay. I'm a TTRPG performer. My Twitter is at Sons of Warvan, Sons_of_Warvan. That's me.
Hi there, I'm Risa, or Silver Sugar, whichever you prefer. I do streams, gaming. Right now I'm in the middle of a Pokemon Nuzlocke, so you can catch that. I will be posting my archives to my YouTube, and I will flood the chat with my links, so have at it, y'all.
I might have to go through the, hold on, let me,
I was about to say, those links are getting censored, so...
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Heck on a cracker.
Hold on, 1 second.
Might have to permissions those.
Yeah, let me... Yeah,
Funny, it doesn't ding it for me.
that's really strange. Here.
Yeah,
Well,
like-
the link itself has been censored out, but
Weird.
you labeled them and then it's followed by censored.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I don't see that on my end. That's funny.
That's really strange. We'll have to fix
Well,
that.
I
at some
tried.
point. Well, you know, we'll have to...
But yeah, just
I'll have to
follow me
fix
here
that.
on Twitch then, and you'll find my shit.
Yeah, well,
Don't worry about it.
we'll get it fixed at some point, probably before the next game,
Technology be what
hopefully.
it is.
Well, you know, technology likes to ruin things for me and everyone else, apparently. So, we have ourselves... what the hell are you doing? Can I just... What if I just do that? Disabled follower. Okay, no. I have disabled the shield mode for the time being, so if you wish to try and repost, you can. But
Science. How about that?
nope, still there. Anyways, that's annoying. Alright, well, we'll fix that another time. Anyways, as before, we are very, very close to our 30 follower goal, and if you will recall, we have a little bit of a Star Trek Intelligence playing card deck giveaway here. with that, if we hit the 30 follower mark, we will in fact be doing that giveaway. In which point,
So cool.
at which point, primarily this will more than likely be a limited set. We might not do more of them. We'll see. It kind of depends. But if we hit that 30 follower goal, we will get that all situated and try and get that to you as best we can. In addition to that, what was I gonna add to that? There was an ad to that, and then I lost the thread. The Minotaur's maze has bested me again. Hold on. Right.
Well,
okay.
we are 3 away.
Yep, we are
guys.
three
So
away.
close.
That was the thing I was gonna add to it. That 3 away is going to also, to even have a chance at it, be in the chat for that when that does happen. And yes, fans, we are correct. At the 30 follower mark, we will also upload our episode 0 session to the Rune and Relic YouTube channel, as we kind of felt out our characters a little bit in that, and it was an experience. But with that,
Growing pains.
yeah, it was good. And then if we, a little more lofty goal, but if we do hit the affiliate status for Rune and Relic, we will be doing, at the very least, 1 to 2 Rune and Relic die giveaway as well. Finally, normally that would be it and I'd be done with the announcements. However, currently Rune and Relic does have 2 game applications open right now. I will check and see if Discord hates me specifically, and not Discord, Twitch. But this one right here, I believe. Let me type this out here really quick. Let's see if that works. I believe that worked on my end. So we have a... one second. I will explain this in just a second. I maybe should have thought about this a little bit ahead of time, but, brain. Okay, so... as long as you have access to those links, there are 2 games that are slated for the fall months. Star Trek To Boldly Go will explore the 25th century era with a crew exploring the Gamma Quadrant. It'll be a monthly game. If you are wanting to join or experience some of the gameplay here on stream with us, you are welcome to do so. It'll probably be an entirely different lineup. The Dark Saviors is a D&D kind of horror-esque campaign that is also going to be during the fall months. If you know someone that is interested in it, you don't hesitate to point them to this game application direction. That goes for all my cast members here as well, if there is anyone that you feel is interested in or might be. But I do believe that is it for our announcements now, because I don't think there's anything else that needs to get done right now. No, we're good. Alright, well, we will jump into the 6th episode of Star Trek Intelligence. We will see you in just a moment. Okay, welcome back. I nearly forgot the hotkey for that, and we almost just immediately went to break. Anyways, uh, when last we left off, the USS Hypatia was responding to a distress signal from, or rather, not so much a distress signal, but a radio silence from Starbase 108. Not too far away from the Sol system, though maybe a couple weeks of travel. On the surface, it is a scientific survey station. Realistically, it is a warehouse for intelligence. That intelligence is crucial, and if it were to fall into any type of hands that is not of the Federation, it is problematic. Going at max warp and then immediately, more or less, crashing into a rift and getting tossed into something. Using the term otherworldly here feels weird, but that's what I'm gonna use. As there were vessels surrounding Starbase 108. The damage was extensive, casualties were had, and the interactions with these beings proved neutral to the point of being hostile. With that, the crew of the Hypatia is now at an interesting position, as it is still very much sustained heavy damage. There are well over 150 people. Over 150 people on Starbase 108. The creature which you had put into a containment field managed to escape, and vessels began to head your direction. That is where we left off. That is where we will pick up. And a point of note, you do only have a skeleton crew.
Yeah. It still appears that we're playing possum, but I suspect the ruse is up. So she's going to have Commander Hone take the helm and do the best they can with getting us into evasive maneuvers.
Okay.
As well as, if it's still functioning, getting the ship into red alert.
I do that.
Okay. The ship is running on, and actually, despite not being the primary engineers, you actually get a notification as the computer core real lights, and you are now operating at what you were operating below 15% power. The engineers, despite how limited they were down there with the skeleton crew that you had, have managed to work up a miracle, and you have about 30% power to work with now. That is a significant jump. That means your weapon systems, both phasers and torpedo, or at least a torpedo launcher, is active. Though you cannot do both simultaneously, you will have to select and choose. But you do have defenses. Shields are put up to roughly 50%. And you currently don't have access to warp drive right now. But full impulse is on the table again.
So Commander Hone, do the best you can, and get us over to the starbase. Lieutenant Caraballo, I'm going to put you on weapons. Just, I know targeting is probably shot, but if you can be distracting, that'd be even better.
Oh, don't worry, Commander. There's enough of them out there that close is going to hit something.
Right.
Do you want me to be subtle or quick when going to the starbase?
Quick at this place. They
Alright.
know what we're up to at this point. So there's no disguising that we're no longer possum.
All right, I go for the starbase.
Okay. 1 second. All right, Commander Hone, you are going to have to make a. Okay. This is going. No, this is definitely a daring con roll because this is insane at this point. And also you are in close proximity to things, so this is going to be a control con roll with a difficulty of 3.
You
thought you
just
said
said daring.
daring.
So the daring or control?
I'm sorry. Daring con. Daring con
Okay.
difficulty 3.
Okay. Do we have any momentum?
Nope. You've seen.
You see. Okay.
New day,
Okay.
new scene.
I'll just roll and see what it looks like.
Sounds good.
I got a 1 and a 9, so that's 3 successes.
Oh my god.
Nice.
8 is a great flyer, apparently, dude.
How-
Nice at this could say this.
how do you
Built for this. Built for this.
How do you all of you just basically scrape right at the edge somehow.
We scrape right at the edge, and sometimes way over.
Yeah, that is true. Okay. As the ship kind of hums back to at least some semblance of life. With that, the vessel, the Hypatia, kind of almost in her own stubbornness, slightly fitting, begins maneuvering and weaving through. At this point, a couple of the vessels break off to pursue, but most of them don't, is what you're immediately noticing. Most of them fire something kind of at this weird extra-dimensional space, and this wormhole-looking portal kind of appears in front of each of them. The 2 vessels that break off to pursue you begin firing. However, what you have discovered with this is the damage is honestly negligible. Like,
Commander, their weapons don't seem to be effective against us for the moment.
Good. Just ignore them for now. Just keep, Lieutenant Carballo, just keep them distracted until we can get to the starbase. Kavai, I want you to get to the nearest console and see what scans you can get on those portals that they're creating.
Yes, Commander.
it's not hard to determine what these portals are. You didn't have a reference beforehand, but this stuff right here, those portals that they're making, is more or less similar to the rift that you collided with.
Good to know. Going to file that away for later. For now, focus is on get to the starbase.
Alright. With that, you are able to avoid, because these vessels are maneuverable. They're just not Tate.
Yeah, no, few people are.
There is one instance in which one of them tries to kind of come head on your direction, and without missing a beat, Tate, you just more or less accelerate tilt and yaw until you are underneath the vessel, and there is a slight scrape as the ventral hull of the engineering section does make a very slight contact with its ventral hull. But after that, and they almost seem to lose interest and make formation with their fleet that appears to be making portals.
Not their primary directive to come after us.
Nope, doesn't seem that. Honestly, they leave you alone after a certain point.
Is there any way that I can get information on their systems? Especially when we get so close to one?
Yeah, you could give me a... Insight Science would be the roll to make here. And then the ship can assist with sensors and science.
Let's see. 2 6s.
Okay. Yeah. No, with the ship's assistance, even then, that makes enough for it. You are able to get a determination from this vessel. Even the brief contact that you've had with it, it is filed away, but their kind of rift gate technology, you've never had any run-ins with any species like them, but the rift breaking technology of species 8472 is very similar, and it's probably following the same rules and principles of it.
Interesting.
I would definitely relay that information.
Mm-hmm.
And Jaloryn is definitely going to file that away for later.
Do we know that other species designation?
Jaloryn does.
Mm-hmm. It's not... At this point, it's at least known in higher ranks of command and Starfleet briefings, because they were determined to be an actual threat, to some degree. But, yeah, they leave you alone.
And Jaloryn's got particular connections, so that's another way she would know quite a bit.
Well, that wasn't too bad, but something tells me they're not going to be quite as lax about it when it comes time to go the other way.
You're absolutely correct, Lieutenant. They don't want us leaving, and it seems the whole point was to figure out a way for them to get to where we were. My gut tells me they were gearing up for a full-scale invasion.
Here's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Why here? Why this station? This is something that's been bugging me since we got here. It's just sort of been gnawing away at the back of my mind. This station is an intelligence warehouse, but why start with this one?
Because
Not
it is
many
an
know.
intelligence station.
Not many know that it's an intelligence warehouse. Its outside cover mission profile is survey. So as far as they were concerned, it's just a random outpost in the middle of nowhere.
Right,
But
but
your
why start with
question
a
is-
random outpost?
Right. Your question is very valid, which is why I want to get to the starbase. I have a feeling we'll be able to uncover more answers there. And hopefully they'll still have enough supplies that we can get the Hypatia repaired.
Um, this this starbase does have a space dock. It's a little bit smaller, but it can house up to effectively 3 vessels at a time.
Are there any vessels currently docked there
There is
that got pulled with them?
there are 2. There is a Miranda class, which is basically an artifact at this point. But there is a vessel that looks like it isn't superbly. It isn't a new vessel. It's definitely early 24th century, but it's a little bit. Looks like it's been kept a little bit more up to date, and they're not super common. There is a Shangri-La class vessel as well.
Nice. So if we need to, we can get parts from them. But there's a place for us to dock at least.
Mm-hmm.
So she puts out the alert to prepare for docking procedure.
Mm-hmm. Preparing for the docking
Here you-
procedure. It's
Pawn
just
is good at
community
daring.
automated.
Let's see how good they are at parking.
Meep.
You're not in any strenuous situation at any point, so it's pretty easy to do. The strange thing is seeing like the flight like deck command center and all of these other things just being completely blackout. There's no one really operating anything.
So the only lights are probably from our own ship
Yeah, it's
to light our own way.
yeah, it's pretty eerie.
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, but it's not exactly like we're worried about scratching the paint on this thing at this point.
Nope. We just need her
Alright,
functional again.
We've confirmed that there's life support there and everything, right?
Yes,
like people
there
are
is
over there.
life support, but as far as like the scans that you can get just with initial computers and stuff is life support and minimal systems are active, but other than that, it's basically like the whole station went into sleep mode.
Gotcha.
So it is incredibly eerie. Transporter systems within this station are not super active from what you can determine. You could, in fact, if you can get to the transporter room, you can transport in. You will have to find a different way out or activate the transporter systems from inside the station.
Can we remotely access the dock? Because that's part of docking procedures is being
Yes,
able
you
to
can
get
remotely
like
activate. You can remotely access that. It's still, fitting under the whole like at minimum capacity, but you can definitely do that.
yeah, because with lack of active systems and spotty transporter, she figures she might as well do this manually and get a bridge from ship to station.
Mm-hmm. Easy enough to do. It is really strange though, because looking outwards into this, you can see the slight reflection of light against metal within this area, and the slight like kind of light green and red pulsar blinks of the starboard and port side lights. But that's the only light source that you actively have here. It is really strange to see.
Once we're fully docked, she's gonna split people up a little bit. She's gonna have Mira go ahead and take Lieutenant Caraballo down to sickbay and get properly patched up. She's gonna have Commander Hone and Kavai go get supplies for basically scrambling around the station on foot.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna have them take some engineers with them for like extra bodies to carry stuff.
Getting down into like the one of the cargo like stores, it is a little bit of a logistical nightmare because the turbo lift, so though active, still like only stop halfway through at a certain point. Then you have to get off to get to like a secondary lift or a Jeffrey's tube ladder or something of the like. It's the Hypatia's not doing well.
No. She's planning on having only a small crew go over to the starbase and then assigning the rest to start working on repairs here with what we've got on hand. And then hopefully the crew that goes over to the starbase can send some stuff back to the Hypatia as we find it. So she's going to have engineers 2 places.
With Kvi, Hone, when you're able to go through the stores and grab like storage, you have there is access to stuff that intelligence toys that most people don't have access to. You have the more advanced version of a tricorder that is just is more up to date, like is a prototype system effectively. Y'all get first dibs on it. There are Type 2 phasers as well as phaser rifles. There is just standard like lights, either like heat lamps or very much the wrist-mounted lights that the Voyager crew had. And just various engineering kits. And then, as far as sickbay is concerned, Ensign Miraloris and Lieutenant Caraballo, I think this is not lost on Ensign Loris, is that you are the only medical personnel aboard this ship currently. Sickbay doesn't look much better either. It's got like some bulkheads collapsed, and one of the biobeds looks like it's been honestly broken off and tossed into a wall.
Well, this place has seen better days.
Little, if you were talking, you were muted. Oh no.
Oh,
So I'm still getting clued in a little. We are just on the starbase currently, right? Oh,
Well, you're on the Hypatia, but the Hypatia is docked with the starbase at this point. Everyone's kind of getting checked out and before they go onto the starbase, or certain members are. Some people will, some people won't.
all right then. I'm sorry. What's my task here again?
well,
Commander Jaloryn had ordered Ensign Loris to take Lieutenant Caraballo down to sickbay to get properly patched up.
Yep, because didn't do that yet, so
Yeah, his leg. All right. So that's what we're gonna do then. gonna make sure that leg is working again.
And you're the only medical personnel on the ship right now.
Oh yeah, that's grand. That's cool. That's awesome.
I'll I
Let's
just
do
sort of
this.
I look at Ensign Loris and say, "Well, it looks like you're acting chief medical officer now. Congratulations on your promotion. Now let's fix my leg."
She looks him dead in the eyes, like, "Oh yeah, thank you. Doesn't that sound like a fun can of worms right now?" Mhm. Just kind of yeah. And yeah, let's start with fixing that leg. She puts him onto a table basically and starts with that.
Yep. Luckily, it's not a huge task to fix that. It's more of it's with the minimal systems that you have, it's working around it a tiny bit. And you're essentially using not the ship, but you're using every external tool possible to make this work. It's kind of one of those things where have you ever taken like, you have a game controller that needs batteries and a TV remote that needs batteries, but you don't have batteries for both, so you're constantly doing that switcheroo. It's kind of that.
Ooh, that's
And
probably fine.
This is not fine. She's sweating bullets.
after about probably what is 15 to 20 minutes, any of that like fracture has subsided. You definitely you definitely know you're gonna be sore for sure for the
Oh yeah.
next couple of days. But at the very least, there's no danger of permanent damage as it has been. That has been rectified. It's just more or less like, even though it has been fixed, your body is still going to let you know that like, nah, you fucked up somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll like kind of grit my teeth as I put weight on it for the first time and go, "All right, that'll have to do for now. Good work, Ensign."
Thank you. Sorry about this.
No. That's honestly, I'm impressed you could make half of this stuff work currently with the state of the Hypatia right now. So you're doing good. Now let's see if we can't get ourselves out of this situation.
All right. Yeah, we should probably come back there.
I'll before we leave, I'll just sort of like look at the ensign, and just go, "Are you doing okay?"
I'm doing alright. I'm just super confused. I hate not knowing what's going on around me.
I just sort of grin back and go, "You and me both."
Well, it's good to know that someone understands. She kind of smiled at him, and then they go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The So I need to know quickly, who is going aboard the station?
I think I am.
Yeah, once Caraballo is patched up, she's gonna be sending Caraballo and Hone with a team of engineers, and she's gonna let Caraballo handpick those, because he will have done the assessment of figuring out who would be best skilled as far as adjusting to potentially relying on security aspects.
I feel like as per Caraballo's list, honestly, it's like he would never say this to anybody, but genuinely, I think as for who is here, it's a lot of his second and even third picks for this whole thing from the crew roster, because the rest of them aren't even here anymore. So it's just like best of a bad situation kind of thing.
I love that for us.
Definitely.
Okay. Tank Bio, you can make your way to the ship cargo store as well. Same thing. Wrist lights, phaser rifles, phasers, and actually there is something that is more chief security clearance for a vessel like this, and they're test weapons. There are exactly 3 that exist.
Oh, are we talking about on the station?
No, it's actually aboard the
Oh,
Hypatia.
oh, okay.
There are three of them that
We get the
exist.
pretty toys.
Yes. It looks much like a phaser rifle, though it is a bit more bulky, and it
Hmm.
appears to have almost a slide underneath. This is a pulsed phaser scattergun, basically.
Ooh.
Not much in range. However, it has a lot of power output, in which case the power cells that it carries, one power cell maybe has 3 or 4 shots within it, but you're pretty confident something like this will drop something pretty quickly.
Okay. So I'm skeptical as to how so I feel like something like this is the kind of thing that would definitely, just even the presence of it would absolutely escalate a situation. That said, we're already pretty deep into it, so I'm thinking Alec is gonna just sort of like look at it and just pull it out. He's gonna take it.
Okay. Phaser rifles are generally pretty heavy. This thing probably weighs. It's got a decent heft to it. This thing, where a phaser rifle probably weighs 4 or 5 pounds. This thing maybe weighs like 6 or 7.
Oof.
It's heavy.
Chonky.
I'll kind of like just sort of test the weight in my hands for a moment. And okay. Yeah, I think after sort of collecting whatever engineering team I could find and also spare from the Hypatia currently, I'll meet up back with everybody else, the rest of the boarding team.
It's different because you're not doing a transporter boarding. You're just going through a airlock hatch. I believe it's Kiribio and Hone that are the primary
Yes.
leads
Mm-hmm.
heading in. There is that subtle hiss of pressure as you exit through this tunnel, and I think you specifically, Lieutenant Kiribio, you've dealt with this before on like certain habitat rings of Starbase 1. Starbases, as active as they are, they're like schools at night, if all the lights are off. They're creepy as hell. Because everything is empty, and the air is kind of still, and every shadow casts a different shadow onto something else.
I'll just lean over to Hone and go, I had a nightmare that started this way once.
Fun.
Not particularly. This one's not shaping up to look a lot better, so I just sort of glance around and sort of say to the engineering team, everyone keep your eyes open. If there's any sign of any personnel, let me know so we can make some kind of contact.
They open up tricorders with the wrist lights. At least a couple of them do, and a couple have phasers and wrist lights. They're kind of splitting up between scanning and security. It's so strange to see just the beams of the light as well as the slight, different multicolored facets of the tricorder going off. But other than that is your only source of light. It is. I don't think any of you have been in a starbase where it just feels completely empty, because even with this skeleton crew, it would feel pretty empty, but that would still be somewhat of a comfort. This is a starbase that is meant to have 3,200 residents, and it's just empty.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Well, Commander, what do you think? Should we try to contact somebody first, or just go straight for what we need?
Let's go straight for what we need right now. We need to get our supplies in order. We also need to find if there was anyone to contact. They would have contacted us. They're probably being held in stasis somewhere. We need to find that.
I nod and hesitate for a moment and just sort of turn to one of the engineers, say, see if you can find a console somewhere nearby and anything that can tell us anything about the state of the crew.
Yes, sir. And they kind of head off to like one of the nearby consoles and do a little bit of wiring and tap the consoles. One of the individuals, honestly human, and probably just the way they carry themselves, probably somewhere from an eastern country of some kind, but well, Lieutenant, Commander, good news. It's not going to be hard to locate missing crew members, as they are in the medical ward.
Why does that sound ominous?
That's I didn't want to say it, because if I said it, then it's my fault. So I kind of just left it hanging.
Tate, I think as important as it is for us to get our supplies and equipment and things like that back to the Hypatia, it's the reason we brought an engineering team. With your permission, I want to go and check out what's happening in the med bay.
Don't go alone.
I won't. I'll take. I think I'm just gonna take one of the, like, I'll say whoever is amongst the engineering team who has like the most like security training.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I'll take with me.
Okay. Judging by the patch on their collar, it looks like they hold the rank of, and this will honestly make you feel a little bad for them. It looks like they hold the rank of, crewman second class.
Ooh. Okay. I'll just say, crewman, you're with me.
Yes, sir.
I'll just sort of look at Tate and go, we watch your back, all right?
You too.
And I'll head off towards the med bay.
I'll head out towards getting our supplies.
Okay. Tate, getting supplies is not an easy feat for you, only because you're kind of having to manually activate certain systems to get to certain locations. It's not that you can't do it, it is just becoming increasingly annoying that this is how you're having to go about it. It's kind of like walking forward and stopping before you can walk forward again. It's like walk, stop, and I think for anyone that gets a little aggravating, before you manage to get to the supply and storeroom, and because this technically is a intelligence area, you get to see something that is a little bit generally not accessible to most people. This is a multi a multifunction computer core. Um, Specifically, it's more intelligence based, and it doesn't take you super long to just, with your long life and history and memories. There are about 30 pieces of isolinear chips and data packs that should be there that just aren't.
That's not good.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing, Commander. I don't like this.
It's a problem for another time. We have to make sure we get our supplies for the ship.
Yes, sir. Even with all these supplies, Commander, I'm going to say it. Getting the Hypatia back into a more acceptable running order would take, especially with a skeleton crew, days, if not weeks.
Well, Carbio is going to the medbay to see if he can get the rest of the crew. That should help.
Yeah, that's true.
Stay calm. We got this. We're gonna be okay.
You're able to grab like a hover cart worth of supplies, and by your judge and estimate, Tate, you can see that, yeah, indeed, this is not going to be put the Hypatia at like 100%, but if you can get the Hypatia to even run at just a little over 50%, you can do a lot with that.
Yeah, that's what Tate's thinking. Tate knows we don't need 100%. We just need more, a little bit more than what we got.
Mm-hmm. Going down to the medical ward, and this isn't like a sick bay as much, because it's a station. A whole section of one of the station's decks is basically dedicated to being a medical ward. So, adding to that feeling, uh, being in a medical facility at night when no one's around is also terrifying. And you can see the dull lights of various systems going off. And you can see a lot of biobeds that are occupied. Doesn't appear to be any movement.
Okay. I will sort of signal to the crewmen to just sort of keep an eye out, and I'm going to approach one of the biobeds.
Okay. Approaching the biobeds, interestingly enough, you can kind of see the systems are kind of active to some degree, and there appears to be like almost a overlay on top of the computer screen that is just foreign to you, that you do not understand, but it looks to be its own medical device and scan. But you can see heart rate and such there. What is interestingly enough is the heart rate is very shallow, to the point where it might just stop at any given moment. It's the brainwaves that are interesting, or mainly the lack of them. There doesn't seem to be any cognitive activity of any kind.
Interesting. So the bodies are active. They're showing minimal life signs, but they're like there's basically no brain activity. Is that what I'm
Yeah, pretty
understanding?
much. Not all of
Um,
them, and if
sure.
you kind of go to each bed, like not all of them though, but if you kind of were to go through the 180 so, uh, about 17 of them don't show any brain function.
Okay. Um, and you said that in addition to the like the uh the medical wards equipment here, there's also like additional like unfamiliar alien equipment. Is that what I
Yes,
understood?
correct.
Okay. Um, I'm before doing anything, I'm going to try to determine the functionality of some of that alien equipment to see if there's anything that I can do, like glean of its core function, basically.
Okay. This one I think requires a bit of a roll. So,
Yeah.
this is going to have to be an insight or reason science at a difficulty of 2.
Not engineering.
No, engineering would apply you to.
Okay. Then I'm gonna make an so insight engineering. You said.
Yeah, that can work.
Okay. Cool. All right. I don't think I have any focuses that apply here. Because I do so enjoy chaos. Honestly, I'll fuck it. I don't think we have any momentum in the pool, right?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
I'll go ahead and uh you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and buy it with a threat. I'll do it.
Hell yeah.
I'm not scared.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna buy
OMG.
another D20. Is it 1 or 2 for the D20? An extra D20.
It's 1.
1. Okay, cool. That's what I'm gonna do. So insight engineering. What's the difficulty?
2.
2. Okay, here we go. Okay, I got 2 successes.
Okay. That is exactly what you need.
Mhm.
Looking through this alien tech, this is medical tech. There's
Mhm.
nothing to like pause. Just doing process of elimination. It's over the med tech that is
Oh,
present
sorry.
here.
I did my math wrong. I got 3 successes.
Okay, that changes things a little bit. In which case, you also have a momentum still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not hard to determine like the whole, if this then this type of logic following of if this is in the med bay with the medical equipment, then logically this is somewhat medical in nature. But it doesn't seem to be completely there. Saying medical is almost kind of wrong. The better term to use for this, and it's almost a little sickening to think of, is scientific.
Right.
And looking through and doing your own scans and looking through the lack of brain activity within some of these individuals is simply because they are incapable of doing so, because that is a key function and organ that they are missing.
Oh.
Oh, so much nope. Nope, 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 nope,
Oh.
nope.
Okay.
That's not good.
So
Oh damn.
okay.
So, jars somewhere, maybe?
So they are physically missing brains, is what you
Yeah.
were saying.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I think, man, I would like to. I think I'm going to use that momentum that I just generated to obtain information. And does it seem to me that disconnecting one of these machines from somebody who still has active brain activity would be a dangerous thing to do, or would it, like, is that basically that's what I'm trying to find out, is that ultimately more detrimental?
It's hard to say for sure, but given the alternative,
Mm-hmm.
there's really not much more harm that could be done than the end result here.
Okay. Then I'm gonna see if I could find somebody who is medical personnel who still has like active brain activity, and I'm gonna try to if I can find somebody like that, that's who I'm gonna try to bring back first.
Okay. 1 second. One second. I need to find the correct person for that.
Question: do we have open comms?
That depends on all of you if you wanted to have open comms.
I think
Oh.
I probably would have
Jaloryn-
opened once I saw this and the state of the crew on the base.
Lauren
Yeah, we
probably
do
would have
want to
had
know.
it standard procedure to open the comms once we're able to establish if they're even working. It's like if you can get them working, have them open.
I'm so fascinated with the possible reaction of the entire crew just seeing that some of them have basically no brains. Just the total horror of it.
Upon seeing that there is a individual that you are able to find, like, that has the medical teal, and they hold, and you're guessing they're part of the skeleton crew because they hold the rank of commander.
Okay. um then in that case I'm going to okay, I'm gonna attempt to deactivate this alien or disconnect this alien device from this person.
It looks like it's as simple as just pulling it off. It's almost like a lens over something.
Okay.
And pulling the tech off, nothing immediate happens before there is a sudden gasp, and this individual sits up and kind of like immediately looks around.
She's like, whoa, 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 easy, easy. I'm not a doctor, but I'm guessing that sudden activity isn't going to be good for you. But I think you're probably better able to tell me that. But still, I would take it easy for a second.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. Where... I don't remember you, Lieutenant. What?
Lieutenant Alec Caraballo, of the USS Hypatia, is...
Hypatia, that's a vessel that's stationed in Seoul, not here.
Right. We were responding to some radio silence from Starbase 108, and we found ourselves in a bit of a situation, one which I was hoping you might be able to shed light on, but that's, I think, maybe not the priority, and I'll just sort of gesture around. This is where I found all of the crew of Starbase 108 here in the medical ward, hooked up to these devices. Many of them are almost, I think everyone is technically alive, but there are quite a few crew members who are displaying no brain activity due to a lack of a brain with which to do it.
There is a visceral reaction from her, because that is something that truly in her Starfleet medical career, there have been instances of that in history, but just she herself was never going to expect to ever hear that and come out of someone's mouth said to her. Okay.
So I know this is a lot. Ordinarily, I would say rest is you need to take a minute, but we are sort of in a bit of a, as I mentioned, situation here. So as soon as you feel able to,
okay,
I need your help. This is not my area of expertise.
Yes, well, she kind of slowly gets off. Definitely not completely sure-footed, because she's been out for who knows how long.
Yeah, I'll make sure to be there to kind of help steady her as she stands,
All
and
right.
just make sure she doesn't like fall.
Well, minimal power. It looks like life support's on. Okay.
I'll tell her basically anything that I have learned just from studying at the moment. So, as far as I could tell, the uh, the simplest solution has been just, well, like with you, was to disconnect the subject from the apparatus. But I have no way of knowing if that's the best way to go about things, or if I just got lucky with you.
Well, any short-term effects don't seem to be cropping up, and long-term effects may show themselves later. But I can't really concern myself with that right now. Oh, right. Given you said there's a situation, I assume you're familiar with the concept of walk and talk. I will...
Very much so.
Okay, well, then you will do the distinct pleasure of informing me everything up until your arrival here.
Do what I can. We don't know much ourselves, but I'll tell you what I know, and I'll kind of inform as she's like working and looking at stuff, and yeah.
There is, after... It doesn't take a huge amount of time for her to go through everyone, and most people, aside from the 17, are able to awaken. All in various states of like alertness. Some a little bit more alert than others. Before she kind of looks towards the 17 bodies that are not active. She doesn't really say anything. She just kind of looks towards them, and there is a... You can watch her just mentally note something, and though they still have a slight heart rate and all of that, you can distinctly tell she is mentally noting each member here and more or less giving them a time of death.
Mm-hmm. I'll just very sort of quietly just kind of say, Commander, what was your name?
Commander Sydney, originally stationed on Starbase 1.
Starbase 1. Huh. Served some time there myself recently. Commander Sydney, I promise you that when we get out of this, we'll do whatever we can, make whatever arrangements we have to for them. Right now, I need your help. I need to know everything that you know, the last things you remember, and everything leading up to that.
Right. Well, we were setting up a survey beacon towards one of the stars of this... Well,
Sorry, as an aside, I'll make sure that while this is happening, while she's telling me this, I definitely have my comms open and transmitting for this so that the commander can hear this as well.
we're setting up a survey station, or outwardly, that's what most of the officers here believe. I myself... we got pulled into something, and we were visited by life forms that seemed inquisitive but not hostile. It wasn't until the... She gestures over, and you, there is a distinctive, sorrow in her voice, because one of the figures looks like they hold the rank of Commodore, or at the very least, recently Commodore, and probably Fleet Captain at some point.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That is just still and one of the 17.
Oof.
When the commanding officer mentioned an extension of peace and who we were, the United Federation of Planets, the intrigue seemed to grow. Pressing conversations about historical exploits and such. Translation was spotty at best, but it seemed they were interested in our history as well as our conglomeration of species. Aside from that, I don't know a huge amount. I don't particularly remember how I ended up here.
Right. And how was it that you encountered these beings? Was it happenstance or were they
Originally, I
were
thought
they
it was happenstance, but given that we ended up somewhere completely strange and different, and within an hour's time we were met, I thought, what a strange coincidence. But now that I'm seeing this, I believe that was intentional, though what is intention, I have no clue.
All right. Thank you, Commander. We'll try to figure out some way out of this mess.
Right. Well, at the very least, I don't think the rest of these individuals here would prefer to stay. I think they would like to find somewhere else.
I'll who's left who it would be in charge here?
She looks around at various individuals, looking at pips and patches. I'm having this horrid realization that it is me.
I was kind of thinking that's what you were going to say.
That's not exactly what I was hoping to say.
I understand. I'm going to put you in touch with my commander, and the two of you can coordinate. I'll just... Commander Jaloryn, did you get all that?
I did, Lieutenant. Thank you.
I'll just sort of just put my hand out and just kind of give Commander Sydney a quick squeeze on the shoulder, nod, and I'll return to, I'll go back to Tate and kind of help with the, yeah, maybe even bringing whatever engineering team might from the base that might feel up to it, to kind of bring a little additional help.
Interestingly enough, just so you have a visual of who Commander Sydney is, because they are potentially a notable NPC, they would probably be played by Indira Varma.
Nice.
But, yeah.
How is their name spelt, by the way? S-Y-S-I?
Yeah. So then let's see, Tate, yeah. Moving a little bit in time forward and getting back to the Hypatia with many more people than you originally had. Even with the damage that the Hypatia has suffered, technically the Hypatia has an evacuation capacity of, I believe it's 300. So it can house everyone. It's just going to be a little bit of a squeeze.
Yeah, and as part of repairs, Jaloryn is going to keep in mind that we're going to be taking on more than typical. So she's going to have instructions spread about that while they're putting things back together, to also kind of rearrange a little bit to better accommodate the extra crew that's coming onto the ship.
Cargo bays are cleared and such for more space. It won't be comfortable, but they'll at least be there.
I think Tate is going to privately tell the Commander Jaloryn about the isolinear chip, the missing isolinear chips. They don't want to cause too much of a panic with that.
Right. And she's going to send them back to she's going to have them she's going to put them in charge with their security clearance to download as much information off of the Starbase computers as possible. And she's going to tell them to not discriminate. She's just like download the whole bit as much as the Hypatia computers will be able to fit.
Okay.
Starting with the most recent and working their way back.
Okay.
That's what Tate does.
All right. With that, going through Tate, you're able to download quite a lot, actually. And you're able to piece together kind of what's missing by what's there. And one thing you'll note is things that are missing out of these computer cores. Certain personnel files are missing. Records pertaining to those personnel files.
Do those correspond to 17 people with
They do.
missing brains? That's what I thought.
Pertaining to those, mission profiles and exploits, commendations, reprimands, everything of the like.
Can I find anything in common between these 17 people? Like anything that is significant?
Normally you wouldn't, however, you are using Jaloryn security clearance, which means your level 8 clearance is in fact a level 9 to 10, which means you have access to this is when you otherwise wouldn't. These 17 individuals are all outwardly, like, they don't seem like they fit that much of a puzzle. They seem, even like with the unlocked file, they don't seem that important, but you're starting to piece together certain things. One of them is like a low intelligence officer, like maybe at the rank of like specialist, so not very high up on the roster. However, they effectively check through and are they more or less go through and just analyze vessel structure to make sure vessels being built within the shipyards are up to date. There is one that is a doctor that specializes in artificial a form of theoretical artificial biomass replication. There is some of the higher ranks have things like connections to various Federation politics. And the list kind of goes on a little bit, and you're starting to see this spider web. Like, this very 17 individuals by themselves seem very centralized, but their reach together is a terrifying, expansive network.
Highly strategic connections.
Yeah.
I send all this information to the commander's personal pad with her security clearance, so she's the only one I can open it.
She's gonna set it aside for now to fully analyze later, but like, yeah, that's pinging a red flag in her brain.
It pinged a red flag in Tate's brain too. That's why they send it to you privately.
Right.
Or a private channel.
But the rest of the download, she just pings a private message back that to reassure them that it's like anything he's downloading off of those computer cores are automatically being encrypted in the Hypatia, so most of the crew cannot access it, including what they just sent to her. So it's being relegated to like a digital safe house, basically.
Yeah, Tate knows that they're just being like extra cautious because this has got them paranoid now.
Right.
And I think Jaloryn can tell that that Kadan's calmness is starting to wear off on Tate.
Like the Kadan's influence is starting to fade then.
Yeah, and you're getting more Tate's nervousness, but like they're doing a good job of keeping it from people noticing. I think maybe Carabile could if Tate has Kadan's ticks, but other than that, not many people would realize this. But I think Jaloryn reads Tate well enough that she could pick it up.
Yeah. So to kind of pull Kadan back out again a little bit, she would respond with very direct, specific and clear directives to get them focused, and having them like directing them towards other areas of, can you look here? Can you, if there's room, can you get at this and download it as well? Just a like very command specific direction for Tate to go into.
That definitely does help Tate.
You get a ping from engineering, the two of you, actually, because with the extra added members, you actually... This is probably the first break that all of you can catch in the Hypatia, as the emergency kind of like dull red lights fade and the standard like white lights come back on as the ship almost starts to just hum back to life. There's still some substantial amount of damage within it, but it looks like with the amount of extra help, the power has gone from 30% capacity to almost 80. And, you know, pirating various parts from the other ships also helps.
Yeah, once those lights come back on and that ping comes through, it's like that's like the first break in composure that anybody sees from Jaloryn, as she kind of heaves a sigh of relief, but then she's like zeroed back in on her task.
With that, you have the ability to make the attempt to leave this place now. The question I want to extend to you is, do you take any of the armaments from any of the other vessels, particularly any of the torpedo armaments that they might have?
Yes, she would probably like nab enough to resupply them. Resupply the Hypatia.
Yep.
Just like basically topping it off.
Yeah.
Is essentially what she's going for.
Then you're basically adding just a few more, but that gives you 26 photon torpedoes.
Okay. And the other thing she will have done is she would have put Kavai to work, not just getting the sensors back up, but also analyzing the scans to try to figure out a way for us to kind of replicate, like, sorting out, like, did they have something, like a device or something that helped them create the portal? B, if there is, can we replicate it and use it ourselves? So she is having Kavai's comb through those sensor scans to figure out if we can create our own way home.
You've been exposed to it enough now to where you're kind of doing little computer simulations and stuff, and for you, Kavai, you're able to analyze this. You can replicate this. However, unlike these other vessels that you've encountered, they will be this replication of this portal or rift technology will be incredibly stable. Basically, you can use the deflector plus a little bit of computer-based technology and honestly messing with the internal arrays of the phasers a tiny bit to direct it. You can make a rift device or a rift portal. However, the way the rift portal is going to be designed is it's basically surrounding the Hypatia, meaning you can open it. However, this rift has to constantly be punching a hole through whatever reality of space this is, and the rift behind you will constantly be collapsing.
This would be a very delicate operation, Commander, but I believe it is doable.
I have every confidence in your skills, Kavai.
She nods, and you just... She's not, but hearing you say that, it bolsters her a little.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole goal.
The docking clamps from the station depart, and this is one of these things where I think you, as an intelligence officer, have to assume your losses of there's no way to reasonably move this station. It's probably going to be here.
Jaloryn's already figured it out, which is why she had Commander Hone get as much off of that station as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like basically drain it so that it can't be used ever again.
That's more or less what I was going to say, which was that, like, whatever is here, I'm talking, like, station computers, those ships, everything. It's highly probable that they got a bunch of stuff already, but I think we should purge whatever is left.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tate has enough training to know to purge everything. So
Dope.
once they made all the backups they needed to send to the Hypatia, they purged everything they could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and once
at the end of this, the station, once you've all purged everything, the station will be basically a brand new starbase with minimal systems.
Yeah, and once Jaloryn figured out what was going on in the medbay, she would have sent Ensign Loris down to sickbay to like figure out what's the state of sickbay as it is beyond treating Lieutenant Carballo, and start sending lists over to the engineering crews to like please get this off of the starships to restock sickbay. As well as prepping for like a massive influx of crew that need tending to.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sydney is there to help as well.
That's
You were
actually a question I wanted to ask about the crew that got woken up. They do need medical attention, correct?
Not like a huge amount, but definitely they should be checked on because there's no telling like the overall result of disconnecting them. This is kind of a rushed job because time is still not on your side, though the vessels out there are kind of opening portals and look to be, at this point, ready to go. Just checking in on them, and you do have assistance from Dr. Sydney, and you have the Hypatia's Chief Medical Officer back, Dr. Lieutenant Larissa Eve. So you have help now, and you do have the EMH should you want to activate that. Most people would avoid it because the EMH in a strenuous situation to deal with is honestly a lot.
First of all, what I would like to say is when her colleague comes back, she kind of like she has to clench her fist like really hard to not just run up and hug her.
Mm-hmm.
Like as hard as possible. She's like, so happy you're back. Oh my freaking, I'm so happy you're back.
Yeah, well,
Just-
happy to be back. And we have a doctor with us who might have a little bit of insight as to what's going on. But Ensign, we should check up on our companions here. So, there's the med bay, there's the cargo bay 1 and 2. So, I think we'll divide and conquer.
yeah, we can handle this. You have no idea how scary it was to be alone here.
No, I
It's,
do.
Oh, right, I guess we're not unpacking this right now. Let's go.
Yeah, maybe not. Right. At this point, you all know what you have to do to get out. High maneuvers. This will require a lot of finesse and will cause probably a lot of stress for everyone. However, we will deal with that in that second half because we are going to take our 10 minutes here. Maybe we'll be 6 for 6. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to happen, but we can see. But the rest of you that are watching with us, go people. Go get water. Go eat. Go do something and doing a break. Stretch your legs. I encourage it. I know I forget. And therefore, do it, please. But we will catch you back here in 10 minutes. And welcome back. Hey, I did it!
You have chosen wisely.
Oh my god.
just this time. Alright, welcome back, everyone. I hope all of you grabbed water and hydrated, especially those in these states that are getting blasted with heat right now.
My room is like hot as heck right now.
Yes, so we can all attest, drink water. Please, do it. Alright, jumping back into this game. All of you have made some rather horrific discoveries, and there is a plan in order. It is a very risky plan. Kavai, for you, it's easy to determine that that's one option. There is another option available to you, and it's just as risky. It's basically portal jumping with one of the ships that is leaving via portal. Basically,
Like tailing them?
tailing them
Piggyback?
or piggybacking. Yeah, basically. But that presents its own form of danger.
Commander, it is possible that we could ride their wake, but I find that ill-advisable.
Which would be the lesser of two evils, Kavai? Making our own or piggyback?
I would feel more confident not following them given what they've done.
Then we'll do it ourselves. We won't worry about trying to piggyback on theirs.
Alright. So, how we are going to do this challenge is, Kavai, I am going to have you roll. You are going to roll here. This is going to be control science for you. This is going to be a computers science for the ship, for anyone who wants to roll for the ship. And it's going to be a difficulty of 4.
Can Jaloryn fall back on her science background and provide an assist as well?
Yes, so that's 4 dice.
6 if we continue, if we add in the ship too.
Yep.
Because I've got 2 on my own.
Or wait, I guess would Jaloryn be making a roll of her own, or would it, like, an assist is just 1 die,
An
right?
assist is just 1 die. So assist is 1 die, the ship is 1 die. So
Okay, yeah, so it would be 4 dice.
it's 4 dice. It's a difficulty of 4.
Oh, this is so intimidating. Right. Okay. Come on, guys, be good to me. Oh, be awful to me. That's we have a problem here. 16 and a 19 on the die.
Okay. Who wants to roll for the ship?
I can do it. I don't know the numbers though.
Okay, for the ship for the computers and science, it's going to be the total number you need. The magic number is 12. 12 or lower.
Okay, and it's 1 die for the ship, correct?
1 die for the ship.
Jaloryn
that's
has
a
a
4.
success.
Okay. 4?
Does the ship have focuses that apply? Because
It does
Or
not in this
anything
case.
okay, well that's a 4, so that's a success.
Okay.
And
Would
can
cautious
Jaloryn?
science or any of my talents help?
Cautious
Fix
science
this.
would only help if you buy momentum.
Yeah.
Well, Jaloryn's got advisor talent, which you could re-roll 1 die.
Let's do that. Oh my god, 16. My dice. Come on.
Okay.
Oh.
And
Do you have any values that might apply to this situation? Because you could burn a point of determination to re-roll everything. Or re-roll your dice pool, I suppose.
looking at this, there might be a value that might apply here. Kavai, one of your values here, it looks like, is hold for future with crew. That might apply here.
Yeah,
Jaloryn
I'm not
has
sure
been
what to-
bolstering her a lot.
yeah, I'm not sure what to call that one, but I did have a slot available, so
She's becoming invested with this crew. She wants to help everybody get home now, and I was like, this is
let's call it my crew is my life.
Okay, yeah. Okay, burning at a turn.
So who wants to take a stab at what I got here?
Oh
You got
no!
20, didn't you?
No,
16.
but 2 18s.
Oh my
Oh
god!
my god.
It
These
wasn't
dice are
meant to
going to
be.
jail. Like, get out of here. You're great D&D dice, but fuck.
Oof.
bad
No,
dice.
you guys
Bad
go
dice.
away.
Okay.
Time
God,
out for you.
awful.
So, alright, so that's the 2 successes out of the 4.
Is it? Sorry, that not. Do I remember correctly that like the like assisting successes only count if the main task succeeds?
Yeah, so
I
it's
believe.
technically no successes.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at this.
It happens. You know what?
I mean,
Bad dice
to
rolls
be
just lead to
fair-
more interesting things.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, Kubai is not meant to do this job. They're a xenoanthropologist and linguistics person.
The going through it is and setting this up as you prepare to fire this, and the deflector does something that you just did not want it to do. As you kind of charge it up, and the ship kind of shakes a bit, and then you can see it on the view screen. The front panel of the deflector is just going.
Commander, I can't get this under control. We've lost. She's full panic.
Jaloryn is just very firm. It's like, shut it down. Go back through the sensors. Figure out where the hiccup was.
Understood.
And we will try this again. Mistakes are how we learn. We will figure this out.
Right.
In this instance, I would like to sort of in the wake of this, I'll kind of go to Kavai and just say, if you need my hands, you've got them. And I would like to burn determination for Spirit of Discovery talent. So I'm going to use my value. I am a supporting character in my friend's stories. And I'm going to burn the Spirit of Discovery for to gain 3 points of momentum pool.
Okay. Just 3 points of momentum. Alright. With that, looking through, if I finding, like, going through the ship systems, you are not the primary science officer. However, the primary science officer isn't exactly in commission right now, as they are being checked up on the various medical personnel. Looking through, and finally, you're able to find the error. And the error is primarily just the way the systems have been so scrambled. It's a miscommunication between using some of the phaser output with the deflector. The deflector should be operating at 100%, and the phaser should be operating about 5%. And the opposite seems to have happened.
I think I do not have the best understanding of maths. I think here's a problem. Can you fix this relay? And
This is just a simple reallocation of power. I think here. Let me get that, and I'll just
Thank
start.
you.
I'll just start transferring power from one system to the other, basically.
Mm-hmm. Alright. This right here. So here's the reality of your situation, is you'll have one more go at this before you'll have to come up with a different idea, because time is short.
Right.
Same difficulty. Difficulty 4. However, the threat range has increased by 2.
But we also have momentum now.
Yes. So,
spend that shit.
so same rolls.
Am I still rolling?
Yep.
What does... Okay.
I would go ahead and buy yourself another die with a point of momentum.
Absolutely. Is it 1 point?
I
To
believe
die?
so. Yeah, it's 1 for the first one, 2 for
Two
second one. But I
per
think
second.
yeah,
Okay.
but I think you can only have up to a maximum of 5 dice total. Which, with Jaloryn's assistance and the ship's assistance, that's a total of 5 right there. So
Yep.
Okay.
your 3, and then I'll roll for the
Alright,
ship again.
different dice. You guys don't fuck me.
Oof. Okay.
One success,
1 success.
and an 18.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Nothing from the ship.
1 success from Jaloryn.
God.
It's you go for it, and you actually feel a much more violent shake of the Hypatia. Pretend care about it, you're confident that you've reallocated the power, but there's a miscommunication somewhere, and if you had the time to look for it, you could probably find it pretty easily.
If we keep pushing this, we're going to blow relays.
All right, we need a new plan, Commander.
Agreed. Shut it down.
We should follow one of them.
We should.
I'll get into helm.
Yep.
She'll have Lieutenant Caraballo pinpoint the closest one.
Mm-hmm. You're actually watching some of them, this rift kind of just... And when they pass through, it's not like just warping away, it's almost like blinking away. Very much kind of like Battlestar Galactica FTL, just gone. With that, alright. This is where things are gonna get more challenging. This is where we're gonna roll for Tate here.
What's the damage? What do I gotta do? What insanity do I have to do today?
This is going to be, because you have to be precise, this is actually going to be a control con roll.
Excellent. I'm
This-
great at control.
This is control con. This is a difficulty of 4. And I am going to spend 2 more points of threat.
So what's the complication range now?
18 to 20.
18 to 20. Okay. With control, that makes me okay. All right. I'm
Would
gonna burn a.
Would Jaloryn still be able to provide an assist here?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna burn a
Um,
value. Seize the opportunity when it presents itself. There's the opportunity. It's presenting itself.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Very succinct.
I'm gonna pull on. Well, no, I probably can't anymore. It's like the advisor talent. So if we need to reroll die.
Okay.
right.
And I suppose, like, as the advisor, as the commanding officer, her role would be like command presence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna spend momentum for a die.
Yep.
Would there be a ship roll with this one too?
Yes, there will be a ship roll with this one. This is
You
going to
wanna
be...
pick-
Well, would it? Because are you spending the determination to buy a d20,
No, I'm spending determination to get 2 successes.
which is buying a d20? It,
Yeah.
it still
Yeah.
counts against the total
Yeah.
of total numbers.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be a ship roll in this case.
Yep, okay.
Okay.
Yep,
yeah.
right. Right.
All right. With my control abilities and my determination, let me count real quick. That's 6 successes.
Oh, success from Jaloryn.
So
7 successes. Damn.
7 successes.
I'm very good at control.
For the
I-
difficulty,
that's-
so...
I built this character for control.
Okay. You have that. You move through, and it is interesting because it is really Lieutenant Karabayo is the only one who has like even any semblance of like a little bit how Tate is in terms of flying at this point to like this degree. This is a maneuver, and I want this known because this like rift and stuff of kind of just disappearing. You're still flying through it, but realistically, on either side for this rift, realistically, you only have for a vessel of this size, you only have about 10 meters of clearance on either side. And you are able to kind of tail this vessel as you are moving through.
Threading a needle.
Yeah.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, go for it.
I'd like to add that this is a maneuver that most people that you hear about but you never see. Like this is like a story, kind of like from stories. This is like no one knows that real people can do this, but for some reason Tate is doing this with ease, and that's weird.
Yeah, there is. This takes an insane amount of precision that realistically no one should have. And I will point out, it's not like warp tech where this is incredibly like fast or like you're just in one location or another. This is like they're like sweating bullets and beads of sweat and all of that. This is precision flying, where Lieutenant Commander Tate Mahone is in this zone. Everything is in front of them. Everything else doesn't exist. And this is 15 minutes of flying like this.
Tate is too good.
And it's not
Well,
just
you
a
guys are starting
straight
to think
like
that.
move either within this like rift. There are turns, there are dips, and there are dives. Before you exit on the other side. And one of these vessels finally exits on the other side, and immediately you can see it, and it immediately just jumps to a high warp away. The other ones you don't see, and you can, by extension, you're guessing they all ended up at different locations. But you are the most welcoming thing that all of you see here is a star field and nebulas and communication chatter throughout the vessel.
Where do you want to go, Commander? And this is fully Tate's voice. There's no Kadan in sight from here.
Back to headquarters. ASAP.
Max warp, got it.
You won't be able to hit max warp right away. Like, your maximum warp right now is warp 5. After a little bit of repairs, you'll get up there, but...
Okay, well, max warp we're capable of right now.
Judging from where you ended up exiting, it's going to take you about 11 days to get back. Just because you are actually 2 light years further than what you had anticipated. But a little bit of a, shall we say, time skip here. You are back at the Madrid field office. There's a lot to reflect on here, and it's concerning because any notice of any ships, as those have been immediately put out the moment you were able to, no vessels have encountered them. Federation or allied species worlds. and any instance of them or what you're up against has gone silent. You haven't heard or tell of anything.
More than likely, not long after we got back, Jaloryn spent like 2 days at San Francisco, just like unreachable.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Within the Madrid field office, I feel like what are people perhaps doing? Certain individuals more than others, I'm sure, doing to distract themselves from the horrific nature of what they've just dealt with.
Well, part of one of the things that Jaloryn would have done in the 11 days that it took to get home, she would have spent some time debriefing everybody and compiling reports. So once we're back at Madrid, there's at least that one thing that nobody has to worry about. It's like that's done, and that's like everybody tacitly knows that's why she's unreachable for a couple of days. She's taking everything that they've compiled together and is talking to higher ups.
It is for you, Jaloryn, when you finally return to the Madrid field. It is a relief. The briefing was necessary, but any briefing of any like San Francisco fleet base is grueling. It's long. It's tedious, and most notably, you are dealing with generally like captains and admiralty that aren't there. They're trying to ask questions that you know why they're asking them, but it's also, the procedural questions of like, why the fuck are you asking me this? You already know. But eventually you do get back, and the Madrid field office is different. It's not a sense of relief getting back here, as you are greeted in your office, actually, as you enter by a... Let me double check really quick. I believe it is... Yes, by Assistant Director Elias Nevrin, who, if you recall, is portrayed by Gary Cole, as he kind of looks around as you enter. Welcome home, Commander.
Good to be back, Director. What can I do for you today?
Well, it's more of an order that I'm supposed to give you. Director Zhao would have given it herself, however, given recent events, she has her own debriefings to go through.
I feel sorry for her.
Yeah, well, this is why, as acting director, I feel comfortable with this. If I was director, then I'd have to deal with that. So I'm okay with not dealing with it.
I completely understand. Better her shoes than us.
I won't tell her that. However, this is perhaps the bad news that I'm handing off to you.
Let's have it.
Given your recent experience, and that you were at the, shall we say, ground zero of this event, the Seoul Atlantic Field Office will be heading the primary operation against these invaders, we'll call them.
Delightful.
This will be
I
your
take it things are
operation.
going to get a lot busier around here.
This will be your operation, and I have tried my damnedest to keep people out of your business. But you are going to have a... I apologize for this. There was no way around this. Higher ups ordered it.
I'm going to have a shadow.
You're going to have a Section 31 liaison attaché, yeah.
Great. Do I at least get to request a particular one? Or have they already chosen?
They've already chosen.
Even better.
She says you've met.
And even better. It's like initially it's like she has like the first one like looks like she bit on something really sour, but the second time around is like she visibly brightens up. It's like she knows who he's talking about.
Well, that's the news I'm dropping on you. Sorry to leave you with a somewhat sour note, but
You remember those old sweet and sour candies?
I do. I don't like them.
They're an acquired taste.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those.
Good luck.
Thank you.
He walks out of the office. The rest of you, what are you doing in this instance here?
I think after being gone so long, Tate would almost instinctually contact their mother.
Okay.
They don't want to, but it's like they kind of have
It's kind of like an instinct that you just do.
Yeah.
Give me one moment here. Believe I have it up here. Is it? No. Yes, okay. She appears on the screen. Wherever she is, it's clearly a little later than she was expecting. Hey,
Admiral?
is this a business call or more of a social one?
I just wanted to make sure that you knew I was back after being gone for so long.
Well, that's the nature of intelligence. At times, you will disappear off my radar.
Yeah, I don't want to worry you too much.
I don't think I need to worry about you. You seem to be doing fine.
I am. My crew and I were able to handle it. I did a lot of ridiculous flying lately, Mom. It was some of that stuff I don't even know how I did.
Well, that's part of being enjoying certain skills in life. Will grant you certain abilities that other...
That's the thing. That's the thing, Mom. I've been going through my past lives and I've been going through their files, and of them, I'm the only pilot. And I'm a good pilot, but the stuff I was doing, Mom, I hid underneath the phasers of a warbird. I flew through a rift that only gave us 10 meters of clearance. I I don't know how I did that, but I did. I mean, I'm a good pilot, but I don't know how I did that.
Well, if you're a good pilot, then perhaps you can lose some of the humility, and maybe you're just an excellent pilot.
Maybe. You're right. How are you, Mom? How is everything going?
Well, there's certain bits of... Admiralty is its own challenge, and she'll go into a lot of the inner workings, like the kind of monotony of the Admiralty. At any point in time when you kind of bring up the things that you're like explicitly seem to be overly skilled at, she'll divert the conversation to eventually to where the call ends.
Do I know she's like, because
Oh, you're not dumb. You
Good.
know for a fact that there is something that's being hidden here.
yeah, I don't think Tate has it in them to press her for it.
Mhm.
Like, not too much. Like Tate's. Like, I think, in a way, that their mom gave them an answer by keep diverting,
Mhm.
like constantly diverting.
Yeah.
Like, like the message Tate got was, "Don't ask questions."
Mhm.
So they're gonna sit on that for a while.
Okay. Within your own abode, as that call ends, and you have your own things to contemplate. For the youngest two members of this group, between Ensign Loris and Petty Officer Kavai, how do you handle everything that you've learned upon returning to the Seoul Atlantic Field Office?
Well, first, I must say that normally Mira is not the one to drink. She's not a drunkard. She can hold her alcohol, but this time she needed to numb the memory a little bit. So the first thing she did was she went and got blasted, just for one night. She went. She went like bar hopping. She got absolutely wasted, like incredibly so.
Okay.
That kind of helped. It didn't make her forget it all, but it did help with just not
For the
being
minor,
so
like,
focused.
immediate moment, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She did feel better after it. It helped her not to focus on the thought of what's been going on in there before they arrived.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a bonus. Other than that, she just kind of dipped into studying more, um, learning more about medicine, just all the separate stuff practice. Nothing much other than that.
Okay. What about you, Kavai?
Kavai hits up a local library and consumes several authors' complete works, as well as discovering local fast food joints in particular,
Okay.
and has been eating like absolute hot garbage. Like the worst of vices, the worst of stuff. And I think very similarly to Mira, they fall back on some old Orion habits. If it is possible to obtain anything illicit, I think she would try to track down something to at least help them sleep.
Okay. It's not hard to find these things, especially within your skill set. It's almost easier. You're definitely able to find these things.
Nothing too hard, like whatever the equivalent of like weed is,
Oh yeah.
but
no,
it's
there's-
still to a
She's
very much like detrimental usage level.
not de-stressing in a healthy manner.
Mm-mm. And they have logged considerable holodeck hours. If anyone enters that room, they would find she's working on a very elaborate downtime area. And I think she would also be considering sending a message to, like, there are drafts, like multiple drafts to a former teacher of theirs.
All right.
But they don't send them yet.
Actually, speaking of holodeck, Mira will be using that too. Wait, actually no, they are in Madrid. God, I am too dumb to remember. Is there a sea nearby?
Madrid's in the middle of the continent, but being the future, it would not be very difficult for her to find a transporter hub and like get to the seashore, like find a cabin on the seashore to rent out for. Yeah, it would be just a quick hop to the sea.
I think
someplace
Kavai
by the
would,
sea.
if you mention that you're going to the ocean, Kavai would probably be like hovering a little. Like, I'm not going to invite myself, but
like the whole
I love
vibe is yeah, the whole vibe is like, take me with you.
like big puppy dog eyes.
Aw, you know Mira cannot refuse puppy dog eyes, especially from a person that usually just does not interact with her at all.
Yeah, you two can kind of do that, and honestly, it might be healthy and equally destructive for the two of you, as you go off.
Kavai wouldn't indulge in alcohol, but she would offer whatever druggies she's got.
Well, Mira is
sharing is caring.
Mira is very aversive to drugs. She like really does not see them. She thinks they're dangerous and really hates those, but she's not gonna like.
Kavai feels exactly the same way about alcohol.
Hey, fair enough. Honestly, what Mira is doing this for,
Same
she
scale, different
brings
side of the balance.
she
Hell
brings
yeah.
with her a gigantic, like, full toy bear. It's like enormous. She blows it up on the beach and just sleeps on it while like floating on the waves. This is what you see, just a like pretty buff woman just sleeping on a gigantic full toy bear.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Well, that the two of you are off doing that and engaging within, distracting yourselves. Lieutenant Caraballo, how are you handling these next few days?
Oh boy. So Alec has definitely spent, I mean, he does this often anyway, but he's been a lot more intense about it since they got back. But he is logging time with like hand-to-hand training programs in the holodeck. And just keeps like cranking up the difficulties, just keeps going. And like to the point where like
it might be a little dangerous.
Probably not to the point where it's dangerous, but definitely to the point where like, at least not as far as like physical danger to him from the program, but more in terms of exertion than anything.
Really pushing the envelope on what he's able to tolerate.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Torres. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. But I think whenever he's not doing that, I was actually going to say that like if Kavai is bouncing around to like local establishments, like food and stuff like that. Like there's definitely at least one occasion where she would see Alec in one of them, just sort of sitting, like food in front of him untouched, just sort of staring out the window. And
I would join you for a
okay.
sec.
Yeah. As you sort of sit down, Alec kind of like comes out of his sort of spacing out the window and says, "Oh, Kavai.
Salutations. I
Yeah.
will, whatever, like, if you got like fries or whatever, I will take one.
Oh, definitely. You know that Alec is the kind of person who like just has. It's not even like food. It's just like a bunch of like appetizer type things in front of him,
Hell yeah.
but like they're completely untouched
I
at
know
this point.
so many people like this.
Yeah. Just
It's me. I'm one of those people.
hell yeah.
Okay,
Um,
we're entering
I
into
did
the high
this.
double
It's technically for me, but it's also technically for you.
You have these little potato things. I have grown to love these.
yeah, they were kind of an Earth staple at one time, at least in terms of fast food. Alec kind of just trails off and just kind of just at a certain point, like he's just sort of like staring down at the food, and he looks up and says, "Sorry, I can't get those people out of my head."
You had it worse than the rest of us, having been there. It's understandable.
You know, when I was at Starfleet, I used to read about all these explorers, all these people going out there, the pioneers of our age, and all the amazing things that they do and see, and I'd get so excited. That's what I wanted to do. It's what I wanted to be. But then my own experience, well, it turned out not quite to be that. Now, in the span of just a couple short months, started to have those adventures, and I think I'm starting to realize that's what this all is, isn't it?
Goodbye nods. Reality and fiction rarely blend well.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I haven't quite processed any of it.
Just nods again. It's understandable.
You sorry. You you were gonna say something a while back. You were trying to tell me something, and
I was never supposed to be here. I suppose it's more common knowledge now, but I cheated my way in. So let's just say stories about Starfleet have been exaggerated, but this is manageable. You get the sense she's stretching the truth and so much compartmentalizing. Like,
yeah. I'll just sort of tilt my head and say, "How do you really feel about being here? About all this?"
It was better than my alternative. Have you ever... Have you ever heard of Vulcan traditions?
I can't say I'm the most familiar, other than in passing. conversations I had with classmates at the academy mostly, but
I'll
no,
I'll look down at your hands. Do you wear any sort of jewelry?
no, definitely not.
I see you are unattached. It is human custom to wear rings if you are married. Have you ever
I
had a partner before?
I mean, nothing lasting, I suppose. Just the odd, mostly just cadets blowing off steam, that kind of thing. But no.
My She looks down. She has quite the yellow flush on her face. And you can see that she's embarrassed, but also you get an undercurrent of intense fear. And she sort of just lets it hang.
You know, I haven't quite been able to figure you out just yet.
What would you like to know? I am something of an open book.
You know, as somebody who works in security, I can tell you right now that you are maybe one of the least open books I have ever had the fortune of knowing.
She raises an eyebrow at that and leans back and kind of barks a half of a laugh. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
No, I mean your emotions. You're transparent with your emotions and with you're genuine, but even the truth can hide things.
I was... I've learned a thing or two about your people. It's, common for people to find those of a similar age, and, let's just say my family wanted me to be with someone I was not comfortable with.
I think I can understand that. Yeah. That kind of pressure and expectation, it can be difficult to shake and even more difficult to live with.
Indeed.
As the kind of this interesting conversation and definitely being much more open with your fellow teammates here, I think over the course of time, certain individuals, Commander Jaloryn, you were able to see which individuals are a little bit more starting to at least be more open and honest with each other, who was trusting who a little bit more. And given your new task that the Seoul Atlantic Field Office has, you understand that that is going to be a source of strength. Most definitely. But you also have to acknowledge that this can also be a weakness to be exploited. As you're kind of going through time, you eventually get a chime at your door from your office. Do you...
Can I ask
Hmm.
who it is?
Yes, you interacted with her very briefly on the Hypatia, but this is actually, Commander Jadis Sidney.
Oh, the one we got off of the starbase.
Yep.
Okay. There's no answer.
Okay.
And if Commander Sydney has read up on Jaloryn a little bit and listened to like chatter of the crew, she may or may not pick up on that's unusual.
Okay. Interesting enough, she does have the clearance to override your office if need be.
She's a doctor, yes.
She will do so if she enters your office. What will she see?
It's like initially nothing. But there's something about the atmosphere, like something's off. Like she can't quite put her finger on it. There's something's not quite right here. And it's like on closer inspection, it's like she can kind of see like data pads and stuff. Like somebody had been in here. There was clearly somebody here working on something at some point. And like, but where's the person?
Mm-hmm. She will pick up the data pads, do a quick perusal over them. Where is Commander Jaloryn in this instance?
Does she go around behind the desk?
Yeah, she will.
She's on the floor.
Okay. Like, unconscious, or just...
It looks like she just dropped over.
Yeah, she will immediately respond with medical procedure and training.
And by all accounts, she is completely unresponsive.
What an interesting way to end this session.
Panic!
Because
Wait, what?
actually,
Excuse you?
this right here is a perfect lead-up into the next two-parter.
No.
So...
You're welcome.
You devil person. You beast.
So, with all of that, for the people who are remaining and watching, you now know, even though it took a little bit of slow burn to get there, you now know who the main adversary for the Seoul Atlantic Field Office is and Jaloryn's intelligence team. With that, in addition to that, the next two-parter is going to be titled, and just so all of you can have your own theories, it will be titled, We All Have Our Parts to Play. Finally, before we head out for the night, as always, just a reminder, we hit that 30 followers, two things will occur. One, playing card deck giveaway. Episode 0 will be uploaded on YouTube. Following that, down below here, you should have links to the Discord server. And if you are in the Discord server already, please consider, I don't want to use the term recruiting, because that sounds weird, but bring people into the fold if that sounds worse. Anyways, but either way,
I promise it's not a cult.
despite what the 80s said. So, but either way, there are game applications in our Discord server that are allowed. A couple of them are in different servers. I know I've posted them in Rule of Lore as well, if you wish to check those out. They're a little ways off, but they're interesting to at least take a look at and see if it's something you wish to consider. Again, with all of my cast, you are welcome to recommend them if you think anyone might be interested in them. But with that, as always, for a time, even if it was for 5 minutes, an hour, or this whole session, or the day, we hope we have been a wonderful and easy break from whatever may be going on, and I truly hope that you have enjoyed at least a little bit of R&R. So, good night. We will see you next week.